I just think that there's a series of possibilities that need to be unpacked here, okay? I've got 6 of them. You ready for this, Mraz? I got 6 possibilities.
Okay.
Number 6 is the least problematic, and that is simply the offense was built for Lamar Jackson. They have schemed this offense for half a season or more, and with all of the runs and all of the bootlegs and all the RPOs and all the running options for Lamar Jackson, the offense, it's just blown to pieces, something that Joe Flacco would never recognize. And so installing a completely new offense or having Flacco play in this offense is virtually impossible at halftime of any game. It's only break glass in case of emergency. If Lamar Jackson is injured, he has to go in. If he's not injured, there's just no way to fit Flacco into this offense.
I love that theory.
Counting down into conspiracy theories, number 5. That Lamar Jackson simply was the best football option. That you're down multiple scores. Lamar Jackson's a big play guy. Joe Flacco would probably be a little bit more methodical in trying to move the offense, even though he's got a big arm, could go downfield with a deep pass. That you just said, we're down 2 scores. We've got to get something quick. Lamar Jackson gives us the best chance at doing something fast.
Yes, and I think a lot of people lost sight, and maybe part of that yesterday when discussing theories is that Joe Flacco's just not that good in a statue anymore. How would he have been versus that pass rush?
Number 4. This was about the future, not the present. That John Harbaugh had an agreement with Steve Bisciotti or with himself, considering we don't know his future, but let's just say he said, I'm coming back. I know I'm coming back, and this is the future. I just need Lamar Jackson to get all the playoff reps possible. He looks awful right now. We're not doing anything, but I'd rather have him play in the 4th quarter of this playoff game instead of pull the ripcord because he needs these reps.
Yeah, what's better for the Ravens? Lamar Jackson learning how to play, maybe leading in a probable comeback, or getting yanked and sitting there watching at his most important part of the season?
Number 3. Joe Flacco had a bad attitude. That Flacco has been PO'd since he was yanked. Flacco admitted last week this has not been easy. Joe Flacco has always been seen as kind of a Jay Cutler-esque, woe is me, Debbie Downer, and that this whole thing, Flacco has not been a good teammate, has not been a good soldier, and Harbaugh was not going to reward him.
Okay, I would buy some of that if throughout the entire game you didn't see the moment that team was on offense, Flacco with the helmet on, hearing the plays, talking to the offense, and number 2, season's over at the end in the locker room, can say anything he wants and how he feels, and he went above and beyond to credit Lamar Jackson and move on. So at that point, if that's really why he had a bad attitude, why didn't we see any sign of that publicly?
Think that's fair? Okay, number 2 conspiracy theory. Now there's 2 potential real conspiracy theories here. Number 2, they were worried about Joe Flacco's money, that they are still on the hook for his money next year, and they're thinking about trading him. But if he gets injured in this game, now he's untradeable, and you're on the hook for his cash.
Oh, boy, that's juicy.
I think it's an $18 million salary they're on the hook for next year. If he blows out his ACL in the 4th quarter yesterday, suddenly they can't trade Joe Flacco in the offseason. And the number 1 conspiracy theory here is that John Harbaugh doesn't know whether he's coming back to coach next year, and whether it's uncertainty about, well, do I do what's right by the organization so that they give me my freedom? Because he's under contract 1 more year next year. And there's been the report that they're going to part ways. That the uncertainty around John Harbaugh's future affected this decision one of 2 ways. Either Harbaugh said, you know what? I don't know if I'm coming back, so I'll play good soldier here. This is about the future of the franchise, not about me. Give Lamar Jackson this rep. Or this is about Steve Bisciotti telling Harbaugh, if you want your freedom, you do what we need you to do here. You're not going to Joe Flacco. I don't care about Joe Flacco. Lamar Jackson's our franchise guy. You will coach the way I need you to coach, that I want you to coach. You do what we want you to do instead of doing what you think will win the football game. Now, again, I find that hard to believe because if I'm an owner, I just want to win football games for the playoffs. But there's this really weird aspect to not knowing whether John Harbaugh is going to come back as the head coach. The Jets want to talk to him, apparently. But he's the head coach of the Ravens. And they've said he's coming back, but they haven't signed him to an extension. Harbaugh says after the game, I'm going to be here. But then the Jets the next day say, we want to talk to you. There is something weird going on with Harbaugh's future in Baltimore. And I got to feel like there's an aspect of this that affected the decision yesterday.